Hey guys, I just came back from the movies. I went to go see Bully, and for those that don't know or haven't heard about Bully, it is a documentary type of film about bullying in a couple of small towns. Some town in Georgia, small town in Georgia, a couple of small towns in Oklahoma, and Lansing, Michigan is in it at the end. A couple other places, anyways, where there have been numerous situations about young adolescents killing themselves due to bullying. And the movie has been out for in terms of like months. Like, we're already at the end of May, and I actually heard about this in early March, I believe, because I was gonna go see it like March 22nd on my birthday when I went to Chicago, but I didn't get a chance to see it for whatever reason, and it finally came to Springfield. Kohlberger had originally told me about it. He had seen a preview of it while he was watching another movie some months back. And if anyone can see it, I highly recommend to go see it. I mean, it's in terms of, it's not one of those documentaries where all they do is throw statistics at you. Some people, I mean, I don't mind those, but some people don't like those, and I think it kind of builds this void between people, and it's just not very relatable. This is just like straight up families who have children who either have attempted suicide or have committed suicide, and are dealing now with the after effects of it. And I think a big focus on these movies is about, or in this movie, excuse me, is about how the school system really doesn't do too much about it, unfortunately, and how they kind of shove it off. A lot of the more common reasons that they push this to the side and think that it's not a big issue either at their school or in their county or in their city is because kids will be kids, boys will be boys. It's all in fun and games. You know, we don't see it. You know, they were friends. You know, I'm sure it was just a little argument. Girls or the boys should handle it amongst themselves, which I think is the stupidest thing ever. What makes you think a 12-year-old should resolve their problem with another 12-year-old by themselves? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why have parents then, right? Just birth your children and let them walk out. Like, no biggie. But it just talks about it, and it's, I mean, I was crying definitely a few times. I mean, I wasn't like boo-hooing, but I was definitely like, I just felt for these kids, and it's just like, to think that it has to come to this. You know, it has to come for one of our young ones to end their lives for people to realize that this is an issue. And even then, people don't take it as an issue. It's just ridiculous. So a lot of these parents, one parent in particular, he started this Facebook thing, and now I don't know if it's like it's a day, but I don't know how many years they've been doing this now. But it's one day that they've made where people all across cities usually meet up at their capital, or kind of some kind of like government building, and hold kind of like this vigil in remembrance for these kids that have, you know, have lost their lives. So, the movie was filmed, I think, very well in order to really tug at the strings of your heart. And, I mean, I want to do something, you know. I want to figure out what it is I can do. If I can, apparently they had one in Johnsburg, Illinois, or I think it was Johnsburg. I've never even heard of that place, so it must be a super duper small town. Then again, I really don't get too much out of Chicago or Springfield, but, and it's called Stand Up for the Silent, I believe is what the group now is called. I'm sure you guys can Facebook it. It's probably huge now. But I think bullying is a big issue, and actually I kind of dealt with my niece, getting bullied a couple of months ago, and it's funny because even in the movie, these administrators and these staff members almost, when talking to parents, if they have this nonchalant attitude that most school systems seem to have, almost make it seem like, not that it's the parents' fault, but like, you're blowing things out of proportion, it's fine. You know, we're taking care of it. Really? Because or they'll even tell you, well, we can't watch kids every minute of the day. No, but you need to do something. And, like, I remember getting very belligerent when I had this meeting with my niece and the assistant principal. And, I mean, the reason why I got belligerent was a completely different reason. But it had to do with the fact that I was there for this issue. So, it was definitely an interesting movie. Once again, I really, really strongly recommend that if anyone has not seen it, to go see it if they can. I mean, it just really... And, like, one of my friends recently lost, just yesterday, I believe, just lost a friend. He committed suicide, and he was being bullied for a while. And, you know, I mean, like, apparently he's attempted it once before, at least once before. And I have close friends that have committed suicide, you know, I've attempted suicide. Family members, my sister has definitely tried a few times. And I just... As me and my friend were discussing when I was talking to her just today about her friend committing suicide, it's one of those, like, you know, why does it have to come to that? Like, for you to really want to end your life, and people need to be held accountable. These students that are causing misery to these other students and, you know, are bullying them and ridiculing them and mimicking them, like, they really need to, their parents and them need to be held accountable for this. And justice needs to be served to these people. So, definitely recommend it. 2 thumbs up. I mean, it's an issue. I think that it's definitely growing and that parents need to pay attention to and not just shove it off to the side. So, that is that. If I find the Facebook group, I'll go ahead and put the link underneath the video. And, that was my biggest thing right now. Like, I just want people to really, like, we tell our kids so much, you know, turn the other cheek. There's no need to fight. It's not a big deal, you know, sticks and stones, or, you know, that whole little saying. But, like, words do really hurt. I remember I transferred schools in the middle of my 5th grade year, and I had originally from New York, but I had lived in Chicago for 4th grade year, and then the first half of 5th, and then I moved back to New York for the second half of 5th. I didn't have any friends, and kids are effing cruel. People in general, but kids are cruel, and I remember not having any friends, and I hated 5th grade year. I absolutely hated it, and I would cry. Not every night, but I would cry, and I was just like, I just can't deal with it. And it's not because I couldn't make friends, because I always was, not Miss Popular, but I was I'm not going to say definitely a social butterfly, but I was always personable and approachable, and I always had friends, and it was just horrible, absolutely horrible. So I can only imagine dealing with that for half a school year, having to deal with that for a year, 2 years, 4 years since you've been in school. Like, that's just absurd, absolutely absurd. So, tell me what you guys think. You might want to read reviews and stuff like that if you can't see it. I mean, try to see the trailer. The trailer, I think, gives you a really good synopsis of what the movie is like and what it's about. So if you guys can do that, I would definitely recommend doing that. And I think I'm going to cut it here because I don't want to pass over 10. I don't want to go past over 10 minutes. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Let me know what you think. And if you guys do anything about bullying, or you guys are part of any organizations, I'd love to hear about it. And I am done. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great one. Peace.